Dear students, we are into third chapter of software engineering. Yesterday we have taken the first topic, that is waterfall model. Now we will take up the next topic in the chapter process model. So the topic for the today is incremental process model. Okay. This incremental process model is somewhat similar to waterfall model, but the difference is that here at every stage a incremental model or first model is delivered, and the customer evaluates it and gives his suggestion, and in the next increment the suggestions are incorporated. So we will understand when this incremental model is adopted. Sometimes it is urgent to provide limited set of software functionality to user quickly. Okay, that is, user is not ready to wait for a long time, so he wants proof of concept or some functions immediately. In the next version, functionality is refined and expanded. After we get feedback from the customer, in the next version the functionality and features are increased. Okay, software is produced in increments. Okay, and in such a cases incremental process model is adopted. Okay, so when we want immediate answer to a question, incremental process model is the answer. Incremental process models are of two types. One is the incremental model and second is the rapid application development model. So today, out of these two, that is incremental model and the rapid application development model, we will consider the first, that is incremental model. So this incremental model, okay, combines the waterfall model in iterative fashion. That is, at every iteration, a advanced model is developed. So this diagram clearly depicts the incremental model. The horizontal line stands for project calendar time, that is the time axis, and this vertical is software functionality and features. Okay, so this horizontal line stands for project calendar time or just the time, and this vertical axis stands for software functionality and features. As you find, this is the first increment, this is the second increment, likewise this is the nth increment. So you find that in the initial period the first increment is produced, but this model has got less software functionality and features. So this model is delivered to the customer or to the party, and they evaluate and give the suggestion. So in the next model or next iteration, those suggestions are incorporated and higher functionality is given. Okay, but in every increment you find, similar to waterfall model, full process is followed. Okay. So likewise, you got number of increments, each increment giving new feature and functionality. So details regarding this incremental model. Here linear sequence are applied in staggered fashion as calendar progresses. So you find here, that is, the models are in staggered manner, that is one above the other. Okay, one above the, so every increment is one above the other with respect to time. That is what we mean by staggered. Each linear sequence produces deliverable increments of software. So in each increment there are higher functionality in the software. In the first increment, the core product is delivered, that has basic requirements and functions. The first model addresses the basic needs of the customer. The core product is used and evaluated by the customer. So the customer uses this first delivery and gives feedback. So improvements and additional features are added in the next increment as the customer gives his evaluation or requirements that is required in the next increment. This process is repeated for every delivery of the product. Finally, a complete product is delivered. As well in the diagram, the nth increment gives the final product which is having all the features and functionality. For example, let us take one example of word processing model. So here in the word processing model, just like you are using MS Word, okay. So the first increment we have basic file management, editing and document production. So what are basic editing features and document production? Okay, features, those are delivered in the first increment. In the second increment, more sophisticated editing, document production capabilities are added. So in the next increment, the higher capabilities are added. The third increment, spelling and grammar checking facility is given. So that is the next feature, that is in the third. And in the fourth increment, we have got advanced page layout and additional features. So like this, in every increment you find that there is improvement. Okay. So in the final case, the customer gets the final model. So let us now try and understand where this incremental model is adopted or what are its uses. So when basic functionality is required early, then incremental model is the answer, because at early stage in the first increment you get basic functionality. When staff is unavailable for complete implementation by the deadline, many times you find that the staff required might be less. Okay, in that case incremental model is adopted because the available staff can produce the first increment. The initial increments are implemented with available staff and the suggestions are taken, and if you want the next increment, the staff is added. Okay, for later increments we can add more staff, we can buy more hardware. Okay, similarly, and finally we can produce the model that we require. So this is a very simple model. It adopts the concept of waterfall model, but at every iteration you get a new incremental model. So this is another model in the series. We will be learning more models in the time to come. Thank you.